Hello dear friends, and welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Today we are diving into a moment that has held Turkish media and devoted fans in a kind of spell. After months of whispers, speculation, and carefully guarded silence, Hazal Subaşı finally let the world hear her voice about the only topic anyone seems to be talking about, her relationship with Erkan Meriç. For so long, Hazal let the noise swirl around her, letting people talk while she protected the boundaries of her own life. But this week, in the most public of places, that silence was challenged, and what happened next turned a buzzing rumor mill into a masterclass in control. It unfolded at an international airport, the kind of space that usually hums with routine. But as Hazal stepped into the terminal, the atmosphere shifted. The calm corridor erupted into a scramble of cameras and microphones. Paparazzi swarmed from every direction, shouts overlapping as lenses flashed. In the middle of the chaos, she kept moving steadily, trying to protect a bubble of composure as the sound grew sharper around her. She wore something simple and beautifully cut, elegant without trying, and the expression on her face told a story more nuanced than words could. You could see the pressure in the small tension of her jaw, the way she forced a faint, polite smile as if it were a shield she had learned to hold perfectly in place. For months, social platforms had been boiling over with theories about Hazal and Erkan. There were elaborate timelines, magnified screenshots, and endless debates about matching jewelry or overlapping travel dates. Some insisted they had slipped into a quiet marriage, others argued it was a careful recommitment after a private reconciliation. Every time Hazal appeared alone, every brief caption she posted, every short clip from a backstage corridor was pored over and dissected as if it contained a key to a hidden chapter. And then there she was, face to face with the very people who helped feed the fire. The question came fast and loud, trained on her like a spotlight she could not escape. Someone called out above the others, clear enough for the terminal to hear, was it true that she had married Erkan Meriç? In the past, fans had learned to expect a soft diversion from Hazal, or the kind of dignified silence that says everything and nothing at once. But this time, something shifted. She paused, and the pause itself had weight. She drew in a slow breath and offered a small, layered smile, the kind that tells you she is absolutely aware of the moment she is in and the message she is about to send. For months, I stayed quiet, she said, her tone even and deliberate. People wrote their own versions, and that's normal. But at least I can say this much, nothing in my life is hidden from me. That sentence landed like a carefully aimed note. It acknowledged the noise, nodded to the exaggerations, and still declined to hand over the script. It said, in effect, I know what is real, I am the one who lives it, and I will tell it when I choose. It was definitive and elusive at once, a statement that opened a door while keeping the lock firmly in her hand. Within seconds, the interpretation game began. Was that a confirmation wrapped in elegance? A deflection disguised as intimacy? Or a declaration that her life belongs to her before it belongs to anyone else? The follow-up questions came quickly, colliding into one another. Is your relationship with Erkan still ongoing? Are you traveling together? Is Paris the destination? Or Rome? Is this a celebration? She listened, held the line, and kept her tone as steady as before. I know everyone is very curious, she answered. But sometimes it's best to let things unfold naturally. Right now my heart, and my life, are in a very good place. You'll see the rest soon. It was the kind of sentence that offers a sliver of sunlight without swinging the curtains wide. It hinted at contentment without attaching names to it, and promised something down the road without telling you how long the road will be. It was warm enough to stop the frenzy from feeling hostile, and distant enough to keep control in her hands. By the time she reached the security checkpoint, the internet had already begun to tremble. Phrases like Hazal spoken airport surprise shot across timelines. People broke down each glance, each micro-expression, each half-beat in her voice as if they were clues. The stillness of her hand when she tucked hair behind her ear. The unbothered way she adjusted her bag. The cadence of the words nothing in my life is hidden from me. And beneath the tidal wave of analysis was a subtler realization, this was a pivot. She was no longer using silence as a shield, she was choosing what to say, carefully, and how to say it so that it would travel farther than any denial or confirmation ever could. Into that conversation came the echo of something Erkan had said not long ago, when a reporter asked about his private life. He'd offered a small smile and said he didn't want to discuss his personal matters, but that he was happy. The remark seemed simple at the time, a polite sidestep for a man who knows he is watched. But in light of Hazal's airport moment, it now sounded like the other half of a matching set, two people, connected, speaking on their own terms, sending a clear feeling without surrendering the details. Together, the brief statements drew a line that read as mutual contentment, even as they left room for wonder, debate, and anticipation. Someone close to Hazal hinted that she has been preparing for significant shifts, not only in her personal life but in the way she intends to carry her professional story forward. According to that voice, the when and how of what she reveals will be chosen by her alone, precisely because she believes happiness is something to be guarded, not merely displayed. That comment made the airport scene feel less like a chaotic interruption and more like a deliberate threshold, a visual marker between what was and what will soon be allowed into the light. Maybe that is why the image of her walking through the terminal resonated so strongly. It was more than a travel sighting. It felt like the first page of a new chapter, a moment in which she took the narrative back into her own hands while still defending the privacy she has earned. Was it a subtle confirmation, a graceful redirection, or the opening note of a calculated reveal? The mystery remains, and the mystery is part of its power. But something about the balance she struck, serene yet firm, generous yet guarded, suggested a strategy refined by time and pressure. She was not improvising, not anymore. She was orchestrating. Of course, the conversation reached beyond the airport, beyond the trending phrases, into living rooms and group chats and quiet messages from fans who have watched Hazal and Erkan for years. Theories multiplied, each with its own logic. Some said the ring on her right hand had switched sides weeks ago if you looked closely enough. Others insisted they caught a shared reflection in a window during a promotional shoot. And then there were the romantics, who believed the two were simply doing what so many do when a relationship matters more than a headline, protecting it, tending it, letting it grow in peace until it can stand daylight without wilting. It's hard to deny that Hazal's remarks were crafted with care. Nothing in my life is hidden from me. In that line was the rejection of any idea that she could be out of step with her own truth. In that line was sovereignty. It framed the entire conversation around her agency rather than the crowd's hunger. And when she added that her heart and life are in a good place, it sounded like someone speaking from the center of her own story, not from its edge. It was warmer than a no, more stable than a yes, and stronger than any rumor. Meanwhile, Erkan's choice to keep things close while admitting happiness made every sighting of him feel like a coded message. A calm look during a press day. A quiet laugh in a candid video. A quick wave as he slipped into a car. None of it was confirmation of anything, yet everything felt like it belonged to the same sentence that hasn't quite been finished in public. If they are writing this together, they are writing it with patience, trusting that the people who truly care will understand the value of breathing room. There is also a professional rhythm at stake. Both Hazal and Erkan are used to working under intense attention, and they know how quickly the personal can be taken apart and consumed by the public. It is not surprising that those nearest to them would say that any big step, career moves, personal commitments, even a simple vacation, would be announced thoughtfully, in their words, on their schedule. The airport moment fit that philosophy perfectly. It neither shut the door nor flung it open. It simply let everyone know that the door belongs to them. And that is, perhaps, the strongest signal we received. Whether this was a confirmation veiled in elegance, a masterful misdirection meant to keep the story from running ahead of the truth, or the carefully placed first tile of a larger reveal, one thing is difficult to deny: Hazal changed the rules of engagement. She transformed speculation into strategy. She reminded everyone that words spoken after a long quiet can carry a kind of gravity that no rushed announcement ever could. In choosing her timing and tone, she effectively rewrote how this conversation will be remembered. So we come to the question we must ask you. Did Hazal confirm a secret marriage with Erkan by speaking from her center, or did she offer a graceful lesson in how to protect what matters from the glare of curiosity? Do you hear a promise in the suggestion that her heart and life are in a good place, or do you hear a boundary, clearly marked and beautifully kept? As always, the truth will reveal itself in its own time. Until then, the moment at the airport will stand as a symbol of how a public figure can take back the narrative without losing tenderness. Thank you for joining us for this in-depth look at a scene that captured a nation's attention. Share your thoughts below. Was this the confirmation you've been waiting for, or the most elegant redirection we've seen all year? For daily updates from the world of Turkish entertainment, remember to subscribe, tap like, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment. Stay with Turkish Spotlight Secrets. We bring you closer, we tell it carefully, and we always return with more.